Another one of my favorite movies is Metropolis, one of the most influential films of the 20th century. It's a silent film about these workers that are working for this building tycoon in the future for building this big, humongous city that they're barely getting paid for. The owner never appreciates the work the workers do, and the workers find cheering up and after work to see this woman who is a Jesus-like figure who teaches them that peace and prosperity will help them and that their hard work will be rewarded. The business tycoon soon learns about this meeting the workers are going to, and he has nasty plans for what he's going to do about it. For the 1920s, the special effects are freaking phenomenal. The sets are amazing, and it's like such a huge grand scale, your eyes cannot believe it. Not to mention that the robot in this movie is one of the biggest, most referenced robots in the history of science fiction. Unlike most movies these days, that it doesn't rely on special effects and actually has a very, very good story. The message is a metaphor that your hands and your brain need to work together, and it's the heart that needs to join them together to work together peacefully. I do not recommend this film to anyone who does not like silent films and who likes to do a lot of reading. But if you appreciate it for what it is, it truly is a landmark in films that almost bankrupted the studio that produced it. Another one of my favorite movies is Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits. It's about this boy who runs into these little dwarfs that travel through time and steal history's greatest treasures from history's greatest figures. Truly shows Terry Gilliam's art style and stuff like that. What I love about it is it has a great sense of humor. It is full of imagination. Remember when you were a kid and you had dreams of going on adventures like this? Well, this movie sums up all the good dreams you had as a kid, and the bad ones as well, according to the film's tagline. The less that's said about this movie, the better, because I truly can't give a lot of stuff away, because a lot of the historical figures that they visit is truly hilarious to see what they truly are in real life. And I highly recommend this film to anyone who likes Terry Gilliam films or is a Monty Python fan. Another one of my favorite movies is Stand By Me. It's a coming-of-age story about this guy that tells the story of his childhood, about how he and his three friends went looking for they go on a long journey to find the dead body. This movie is a big example of childlike innocence as well as growing up. The main character goes through a lot of changes in his childhood, and once he gets to adulthood, it shows that he is truly a different person. The acting is also really good. The kids do an amazing job, and they later went on to become stars in their own right, such as Jerry O'Connell and River Phoenix and Corey Feldman. It's also one of the early movies of popular actor Kiefer Sutherland, who does an amazing. I don't think there's any person on planet Earth that does not like this movie, because we were all once kids and we all went on journeys like this with our friends, and it truly is relatable. Words cannot describe how great this movie is. I recommend it to everybody. Another one of my favorite movies is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I just recently saw this movie as well, and I really, really liked it. It's about the U.S. ordering a nuclear attack on Russia, and how the U.S. and the Soviet Union are debating about the significance of the nuclear bomb, and the results that might happen. Peter Sellers does an amazing job in not one, not two, but three roles. One is a timid soldier who worries about everything that's going on in the war. Another one is the President of America, who's peacefully trying to get Russia and the U.S. to get along. And as Dr. Strangelove, the former Nazi who is a nuclear arms expert. And it's a dark comedy about what nuclear war truly will do to us, and that it will destroy all of us. And it also is a social commentary on how none of the countries, no matter what, can get along, despite any means that are met. George C. Scott has become a new favorite of mine, as he does an amazing job as an American general who thinks that the Soviets are trying to pull a fast one on the U.S. he basically symbolizes a typical American person who at that time was worried about what Russia was planning. If you like war movies and basically movies with sense of humors to them, I'd say this movie is for you, because Doctor Strangelove truly is strange with no love at all. Sorry for that bad joke. Another one of my favorite movies is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The Monty Python boys put on the story of Arthur and how he quests for the Holy Grail, and how everything went wrong, on that whole journey. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I could watch this movie 100 times and still laugh at it, and might even find new things to laugh at. The Python boys pull out all-out stops to make the viewers laugh, and the results are truly amazing. I would tell you some of my favorite parts, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the film, because a lot of stuff that happens in the film helps if the viewer has not seen it yet, and the surprise that the viewer might get. Because the stuff that Arthur and his men run into make absolutely no sense, that you have no choice but to laugh. Not to mention, this is also one of the most quotable films of all time. It's only a flesh wound, and one of my favorites is, "Oh, that ain't no ordinary rabbit." If you love comedy at all, or love Monty Python, then this movie is for you. It is, in my opinion, it is the Python Boys' best and biggest experiment to ever. Another one of my favorite movies is Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, I already talked enough about this movie in my Tim Burton salute. Another one of my favorite movies is Psycho. It's my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie. Janet Lee Curtis plays a woman who has to stay at a off-the-road hotel that is run by a man named Norman Bates, whose house is not too far away from the hotel, and he supposedly lives with his mother, and his mother controls his life. Strange things start to happen as the hotel, as people start turning up dead, and it truly gets really, really shocking. It's my favorite Hitchcock movie because it shows that there are psychos like Norman Bates out in the world, and that it really is an uncomfortable feeling in on itself. Anyone who never seen this movie should, because it truly is shocking, especially by today's standards. I won't give away much what happens because a lot of surprises are in this movie, and I'm pretty sure you'll love it. Another one of my favorite movies is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Johnny Depp plays a young man named Gilbert Grape who lives in a small town and has to try and survive his weird family as well as try to find love. Johnny Depp's family includes his overweight mother who can't leave the house nor has a hard time getting up the stairs, and his mentally challenged brother Arnie, who he has to constantly take care of. It's hard for Gilbert to try and live a normal life with all this stuff going on. I don't normally like dramatic movies, but this movie really almost got me going. All the actors do an amazing job in it, and you truly... Because everybody knows somebody like Gilbert who just wants to have a normal life, but it's hard for them to have a social life because their family has a lot of difficult problems with it. Not to mention, Leonardo DiCaprio does an amazing job as Arnie. I have a hard time believing he's not actually mentally challenged. I really do. What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a hidden gem that barely anybody talks about that deserves more praise than it actually gets. Another one of my favorite movies is A Shot in the Dark. I'm a huge fan of the Pink Panther films, and this one is my favorite. Peter Sellers is at his A game as Inspector Clouseau, as he has to investigate a murder mystery, but he has to go through great lengths to try to solve it, and he even gets himself in a lot of crazy situations too. This is my favorite Pink Panther movie because it introduces a lot of the characters that would be seen throughout the Pink Panther series for years to come. One of my favorite characters is Inspector Clouseau's houseboy Kato, who has been ordered by Clouseau to attack him at any chance he gets to improve Clouseau's combat skills. And another one is Chief Dreyfus, who is Clouseau's maniac-prone boss who almost can't stand Clouseau and almost wants Clouseau to be dead. This truly is a comic classic, and anyone who likes detective movies or comedy movies or the Pink Panther movies, this truly is a movie that should be on your list. Another one of my favorite movies is the Superman. You know I'm a big fan of comic book superheroes, and Superman is one of my favorites. So this story is basically, well, the story of Superman. That's basically all this movie is. Yeah, this movie is basically the typical Superman formula. Unlike a lot of the comics or cartoons adaptations, this movie takes Superman seriously and truly has you feel for the character. Also, the special effects are amazing for the time because you actually believe Superman is flying, and it truly is amazing. And Gene Hackman does an amazing job as Lex Luthor, who will stop at nothing to try to get rid of Superman. It's a shame that Superman has such a bad time of making good movies, because the only good Superman movie after this was the second one. I don't even want to talk about the third one, the fourth one, or Returns. But I'll always like this Superman movie, despite the fact that it may have one moment that may have you be saying, "What? That doesn't make any sense." This movie truly is the perfect Superman movie.